For the best listening experience, we recommend headphones.
Previously on What's in the Rift.
Oh God, fuck it. I'm killing Dima. I've got no choice in the matter at this point. They won't stop. I'm killing Dima.
The three people at the end of the hall don't even seem to care. Dima drops to the ground, dead.
Would it be feasible to have Dima have pissed himself and made a puddle that reaches the guard's feet but not ours?
I like where this is going.
You want Dima, who up until 2 minutes ago was the big bad guy of this campaign,
stay hydrated, yo,
to have pissed himself so profusely that he created a puddle that touches all 3 feet of the guards.
Can I have it happen where he grabs my wrist, but my other hand does grab the baton, and at the last second I throw it towards Bruce?
Yes.
I would like to do that, please.
Oh, wow. You're a very stoic type, you know that. Oh, I bet you're the kind of person who's really good at being afraid of things.
He stops when you say that, and his head turns and he looks directly at you.
The more people that are scared, the more power the blue she gets. It's how it works, really. The more you think about it and the more you fear it, the more it's here, the more powerful it gets.
The sound of it immediately puts you back in that place in the Nevada desert years ago. Please, someone help me. Please, someone help me. 3 people get out of the vehicle. 1 from the passenger's door, 1 from the driver's door, 1 from the back of the van. Share a glance for a moment, and then start walking towards your SUV.
Damn. They're fucking robots, aren't they?
Maybe.
They are the Rift. I have 2 plot points that says Jason Christ appears.
Yo, for the winners out there, you got a spot on my throne. Just like I conquered and kicked it with my old man on his throne, bro, I am back!
Jason?
Bruce, you have to stop this.
It was a warm day, Bruce. Unseasonably warm. Do you remember?
I think I do.
Bruce, I need you to go to your gelato place.
I know I've been there. I don't know how to go there.
Think of the water. Think of the water. Think of the water.
Our story starts on an unseasonably warm night in Orlando, Florida. It is 9:15 p.m. on a Saturday. Toska Orange is patting down his unshaven face in a full-length mirror. He stands in the bedroom of a run-down but serviceable apartment.
What's in the Rift is intended for mature audiences. This show includes death, drug use, criminal activity, and a consistent undercurrent of existential dread. Any children discovered listening to this show will get the hammer.
Our story continues in Brantford, Ontario, on the Grand River. It is January 24th, 1995. And a 10-year-old Bruce McKinney is bundled up in a parka and a knit cap and big fluffy mittens, skating by himself down the Grand River. In the distance, there is a group of boys roughly Bruce's age playing a pickup game of hockey around a net that someone had dragged down there. And Bruce looks back over his shoulder and waves at a woman there, who waves back briefly and then goes back to reading the book that she had brought with her. Bruce, you've never been a big hockey guy despite being raised in Brantford, Ontario, home of Wayne Gretzky, have you?
Nope. More content to sit with a book while the game was on, even though it was the great one.
True to your nature, today, you are out on the ice alone, not participating in hockey, but skating at someone's behest. But instead of really focusing on your skating, in your mind, a whole world is unfurling. There's a battle taking place from your favorite obscure Canadian comic. Why don't you describe to me this little bit of Blizzard lore playing out in Bruce's mind?
Sure, so Steve the Signal, as Bruce ice skates, he's imagining the issues that he read about how Steve the Signal was able to go to a different universe from the one where everyone else was, and he sailed along some sort of rainbow streak that was much like Bruce imagines himself to be sailing in those ice skates, even though he's actually not a very experienced skater, and there's lots of stutters and starts. But in his mind, he's Steve going to save the world.
Unlike the children circling the net and dangling their sticks, Bruce, you're taking several smaller, choppy steps. And though it's been warmer than normal, definitely much warmer than a January day would usually entail in Ontario, you find yourself still seeking out some sunlight, something to warm your skin. As you imagine the Rainbow Ridge bathed in sunlight, you seek out your own patch of sunlight on the river here, and you find it. And the sun feels warm, and you imagine Steve cresting the ridge and leaping up in the air, and at the same time, you give yourself a tentative leap, raising your hands over your head the same way that in your mind Steve is as well. You leap into the air, only a few inches off the ice, and you come down with both fists swinging down. In your mind, as Steve, you hit the far side of the ridge and begin accelerating into a new universe. You spin in place, arms over your head, imagining the scene unfolding around you, when a crack sounds. The kind of deep, reverberating crack that only ice can make as it splits over a body of water. That subsonic pulse echoes off the banks of the river and the low buildings surrounding this area. For a moment, everyone on the river looks up, as this was a very loud and very close sound. The relative warmth of the past few days is lingering in the backs of everyone's head, and a sound like that is enough to draw attention. From where you're sitting, Bruce, it feels like you've been split in two. And so you sit here, spooked for half of a second. You pat your chest quickly, broken out of your reverie, and you look around. And it's at that moment that the ice gives way and opens below you, and you drop into the water. It happens so fast that the next thing that registers with you is the rapidly receding sunny spot that you were just standing in. The Grand River's current is strong, and it is a dammed river, and it is a rapid and dangerous body of water for someone of your size and age to be submerged in, especially in heavy winter clothes. And the hole through which you've fallen is, before you even realize it, 20, 30, 40 meters away. And you think you may never see any sunlight again as that last little bit disappears behind the shroud of the murky water when you feel your coat snag on something. And maybe it's the cold that helps. Maybe it's the thought of Steve. But in that moment, you don't feel too afraid. You feel almost at peace. There are a precious few seconds that you have left with us here, Bruce. What do you spend that time thinking about?
Bruce goes from that sheer panic, things happening so fast he can't even call out for his mom, and just feels it recede, seemingly immediately, just as quickly as he seemed to be transported. All that panic lifts. And it's not an absence of feeling exactly, but it's an absence of concern, stress, anxiety.
Bruce, it's not long before the oxygen in you gives out and you're unable to fight your biology any longer. And you take a long, deep gulp of water that fills your lungs, and everything ceases to be. This is the first time that you've entered a state of non-existence. And what feels strange to you is first that you can feel anything. You're suspended. And there's no corporeal body for you to manipulate, but you do feel as if you can move about this space. And there are bright, stark lines in the distance that you can see, almost geometric or fractal in nature, and they don't seem to provide any light of their own unless you imbue them with light by focusing your attention on them. And much like you were in your body just seconds ago, you have the sensation of floating. This lasts for maybe forever, maybe seconds. Time is immaterial here. But a very unwelcome and very real feeling invades once again. You can feel something snaking its way down your throat, a throat that seconds ago you did not have. And you can feel an immense amount of pressure on your chest and stomach. You can feel the weight of several adult bodies pressed around you. And slowly you can start to make out the chirps and beeps of medical equipment around you and the several harried and loud and angry sounding voices. And the only thing that you take with you from this space is that you miss the quiet. In that moment, it feels as if something is raked out from inside of you, and you begin a sputtering cough that expels an enormous amount of water over your face and neck and chest. And things begin to clear up for you. You look around, you're in a van, in an ambulance, maybe? In an ambulance. Yes, you've never been in one, but you're almost sure that this is what the inside of an ambulance looks like.
I was in aura, just like the signal. What happened?
The man looks down at you, and before you have a chance to say more, he clasps a mask over your face. And a band goes around the back of your head, and his hand presses down on your chest, and he calls over his shoulder to another person.
Hey, he's up. He's talking.
And you see a general wave of relief cascade over his face as he's calling out. You spend that moment trying to get out more words as a shiny blanket comes down over you, a filmy, shiny blanket. And then you slip back in to a dream. But not the gelato dream. The dream that you have a lot of nights now. A dream about the blizzard. Bruce, when you awake later in a hospital, you are there with adults. Adults that aren't your mother. Adults that you don't recognize. But they are here and obviously here for you. One of them pats you on the shoulder and says,
Bruce, are you okay? You went blank there for a second.
Are you from NHS? Did you get my application?
No, Bruce. I'm not from NHS. I'm
a different honor society.
Does Canada have NHS?
I don't know. Apparently it's just called Honor Society in Canada.
Would a 10-year-old be interested in NHS?
This one would.
No, Bruce. I'm not from any honor society. I'm Dr. Victoria. Do you not remember the conversation we were just having?
I was asleep.
Bruce, we were just talking.
Well, you weren't having a conversation.
She looks down at the chart in her hands and turns to the other adult in the room and says,
memory problems persist, I see. And that's something that we are attempting to work through, so not all positives from this, obviously. We're confident, though, that the damage shouldn't be permanent.
I can do better. I can do more memory games.
Bruce.
I can do the puzzles. I've done them before.
You've done more than enough. No one is asking you to do more. Instead, I want you, right now, to focus on relaxing. Can you just focus on relaxing for me, Bruce?
I don't think so. If I don't get good grades now, I can't get into an honor society. If I don't get into an honor society, I can't get into a university. No.
She turns...
I'm too old. I need to focus.
She turns again to the doctor in the room and says,
obviously, he has no recollection of anything meaningful that's happened since the event. I think it's a little too soon to release him to you just yet, though. It's important that we give him enough time to recover. The stress of moving him might have unpredictable results.
And the man nods this time and says to her, may I speak to him? And she nods back and takes a step away from the bed and walks towards the door and closes it behind her as she leaves. The man, Bruce, is to your 10-year-old mind, very old, but to an impartial observer would appear to be about 26 or 27 years old. And he walks up in his long beige trench coat with it swishing around his legs, and he crouches next to your bed until he's just about eye level with you, and he says to you, Bruce McKinney, 'tis a pleasure to meet you. And he holds out his hand to you, Bruce.
Hello, sir.
Very polite. I was told that you are a very gentlemanly young man. I am Dima Volkov. I work with a man named Nathan Orville. We are... how can I put this in a way that would make sense to you?
From an honor society?
No, we are from an organization that studies the mind. We do things...
Oh.
Let me put it this way. We study how people's minds work and
that makes a lot more sense now. Of course.
What makes more sense about it?
Honor society's too pedestrian. I get it.
Fair,
This is for
Bruce.
real geniuses.
Yes, absolutely, Bruce. This is 100% only for the smartest boys. Listen, the important thing that I want to ask you, Bruce, is that you have some qualities about you which we are very interested in as we are trying to understand what about the human mind makes it special, if anything. And I was wondering if you would be okay with it. I've already spoken to your mother, and she wants to get you the help that she believes we'll be able to provide. But I want to make sure that you are okay with coming with me to America so that we can better study what is going on inside your head.
You want me to... I know trigonometry. Do you want me to do math? I'm very good at it.
There may be math involved, Bruce. If you would like to do math, we can do math there.
Wonderful.
Why don't you show me your drawings, Bruce? Do you do drawings?
Yes, I'd love to go to America, where comics are born.
Great.
It'll be amazing.
We will...
The land of superheroes? New York? Can we go to New York?
Well, a little bit... almost as good. Not quite almost as good, though. Okay?
Okay. New Jersey?
And he pats you on the chest and stands up.
First, we have to make sure that the doctors are okay, though, with you coming with us. And it sounds like you have just a little bit more of getting better to do, Bruce, before that can happen.
And he smiles and says, but we will be in touch. I promise you that.
If you want to give me any homework, that's fine. I can do it while I'm here.
No, Bruce. It's, all the work that we have will be done not at home.
He nods at you, and he flips up the collar of his coat, and he walks to the door.
Doesn't literally mean work to be done at home, sir.
Bruce, you're left alone in this room, and you have no context of even how you got here. What do you want out of this situation, Bruce? What, more than anything, would make Bruce feel better? Would it be some homework? Would it be a letter from the NHS?
I think, yeah, he partially got what he wanted. He got told that he's special and by that person, and that's really what he wants in his life, to be exceptional.
Is it just that, though? There's no creature comforts, nothing else that Bruce wants?
Of course, Bruce would love to have a big stack of comics at all times.
Bruce, as you look nervously around this room, now that the man telling you how special you were has left, you notice on the end table that someone has left you a big stack of comics. What's on this stack of comics, Bruce?
Oh my... Somebody left the Blizzard #1? Where am I? This is a first edition. This is reasonably near mint to mint condition. Look at these corners.
Bruce, we're gonna flash forward a few years here.
No, I need to put it on a slab. That's easily a 9.6.
I love that this 10-year-old is so concerned about
the
mint condition of the comic book.
You open your eyes, and you're in another room. This room does not feel familiar, but you do somewhat recognize the man coming through the door, carrying a clipboard trailed by 3 other men and a woman. His shoulder-length brown hair and patchy beard are something that's started to become a little bit ingrained in your memory, and you don't even know his name necessarily, but it's almost as if muscle memory is telling you that you know this person. And he walks up to you and greets you as if he knows you very well.
Bruce, how are you feeling?
I think I just woke up. I just feel a little sleepy.
It's 2:00 in the afternoon, Bruce. Maybe you did. I wanted to wish you a happy birthday. We are 18 today, Bruce. It is a big day for you. Tell me a little bit about what you know about yourself.
Well, I remember the Blizzard. I love the Blizzard. It's the greatest comic ever.
The woman with this man perks up a little bit and reaches down to her carried notebooks and pulls something out of it and holds it up. And you see in her hand a near mint 9.6 graded copy of the Blizzard #1.
And it's slabbed. Oh, that preserves the condition better than anything. That's beautiful.
She laughs a little bit and hands it to you and says,
Happy birthday, Bruce. I think it's what you wanted.
What? No.
It's for you.
This is worth thousands of dollars.
It's nothing at all. Trust me.
Wow.
Dima, as we know, steps back, and the other men with him do as well. And the woman steps forward and says,
Bruce, do you remember me?
And not the best with names, but you're a doctor?
I am a doctor. Kind of like a doctor for stories.
I remember reading a book about a doctor, right?
The book about Sunjia? Oh, it's a wonderful story, Bruce, but she's a different kind of doctor than I am. Her and Laibo Jing might help explain what is going on with you, though. I'm here, though, to help you make sense of your stories, okay?
Oh, you're not a doctor from stories.
No, Bruce.
Okay.
Maybe this will help. What if we brought in one of your friends? Which friend is here with us today, Bruce?
And she looks at you expectantly.
Steve Sanderson?
And Bruce, stepping up from behind you, as you're seated on the edge of this table, is a man. What's Steve Sanderson look like?
Steve Sanderson is an older man, probably in his 60s, with a shock of white hair, white beard, big dark glasses, very professorial looking, wearing a sweater vest. He has a tie underneath. Doesn't look like a superhero.
Okay. And his only superpower is that he has the memories of someone else?
He has the memories of this person, and when he connects with them, he turns into an actual superhero. Like, he transforms.
Okay. Steve nods to you, Bruce, and says,
Happy birthday, Bruce. I'm glad that I was able to be here with you. I see we're here with Drs. Volkov, Reitzkopf, Subramanian, et al.
Oh my god, I hate it when they just don't tell a story. They just spell out what's happening.
I am sorry?
You're a character from the Blizzard.
We're friends, Bruce.
Sure, of course. I just sometimes those issues where the characters are just telling you exactly what happened in the last issue.
Bruce, I am not a character. Am I? Am I a character?
And you see a wave of almost fear or disgust wash over Steve Sanderson's face as you say this to him.
A character? What do you mean, Bruce?
Every issue is somebody's first comic, so I gotta catch it up. So you're just setting the scene. You're saying, oh, we're here with so-and-so and so-and-so. Dima Volkov.
Bruce.
It's fine. It just takes a page or two.
He looks confusedly at you again, Bruce, and then turns back to the assembled group of doctors in white lab coats.
I apologize. Bruce sometimes has these episodes, almost like he's divorced from reality. It's sad, really.
The woman turns to him and nods as if she's going to start up a conversation as the other 4 assembled men are writing in the clipboards that they have with them. Bruce, tell me how the rest of the scene plays out.
Listen, Steve, I'm glad you're here. Thank you for being here for my birthday. I don't want to upset you. I don't want to upset any of you. I don't know if I want to be here, though. If I'm 18... can't I decide what I want to do?
The woman turns to you and says, with a tinge of panic in her voice,
Bruce, I know it might not be easy for you to remember at this given moment, but you and I have decided together that given the danger to you and the world at large, it's best to keep you here in your fortress of solitude. That is of the utmost importance. It is, it is a...
And she seems to furrow her brow almost as if the terminology is difficult for her to access. And then it dawns on her.
A priority 1 initiative. Do you understand?
But I want to go to school. I want to have a job.
A moment passes, Bruce, and before you really register what has happened, you wake up. You're in a lecture hall, and sitting next to you is a child? No, not a child. You look again, you know this person. Their shock of curly red hair, the sarcastic way that they're aping the way that the professor is delivering the lecture at the front of the class. This is a friend. This is somebody that you know. Who is this, Bruce?
Blanche, I'm trying to listen to what they're saying, though.
Oh, no, look at the way he did. If I just turn this way. Dork.
I know. They might say something important. It might be on the test.
Oh, it's all in the textbook. Chill out.
You might say it different than the textbook says it.
It's fine. I've got someone who took this course last year, and I can buy the notes off him. It's no big deal.
That's not learning.
A wad of paper hits you firmly in the back of the head, Bruce. And when you turn around to see who threw it, there's a young woman sitting in an oversized yellow jacket, laughing quietly to herself and congratulating herself on her aim.
Bruce, I already got the notes for you. Heads up, though.
I don't think you understand notes. You take notes to solidify it in your brain. They're not just a thing that you get.
Oh, no, I took them and then promptly gave them to you. I took them from the person who had them.
Special delivery.
We are so busted.
Bruce, whether you realize it or not, you've crafted for yourself, in the moment, a typical college experience for an 18-year-old, complete with friends. And as you look around the room, as you look around the lecture hall, there are other people that jump out at you. There's a mousy young woman who waves in acknowledgement as she notices you looking her way. And up at the front of the class, the person giving the lecture, a tall, black-haired woman with a shock of white over her ear. And she sees you look at her and nods in the middle of giving her lecture, and then continues on.
I guess we're not busted.
See, I told you, Bruce. You worry too much.
This class is very easy anyway, so it's not a problem.
With even more reason to get 100%.
Indeed, Bruce, every class has been as easy or as difficult as you want it to be. And you've through perseverance or grit or luck, or maybe by a means not contained in that list, have maintained a perfect grade average throughout your entire career here. But something's still missing in your life. You had the school, but where was the job? Right? You wake up, Bruce. You're at a desk. And standing at the other side of this desk is a woman in long sleeves with a short chin-length brown bob. And she's saying something to you, but you're only catching the last half of the sentence.
Bruce, did you even hear what I said? Did you just fall asleep? You know you have a presentation in like an hour. Are you even ready?
Oh, I'm just getting used to having a kid in the house. I'm sorry. I was up late with him last night. He had an ear infection.
Did you take him to the doctor? Do you need to take sick leave right now? Does someone else need to give your presentation?
No. I got the presentation. I'm good.
A woman with long, dark hair and a shock of white inset hair comes up and pats the door next to your office. She is here to collect you and bring you to your meeting.
Hey, I'm ready. Let me just grab my coffee here. Wink. All right. I'm really excited to be meeting with the board of directors. I can't believe this.
Let's get going.
Indeed, you make your way into the boardroom, where, sitting there, you see a woman and 3 men in white lab coats. At the head of the table is a 4th man with shoulder-length brown hair and a patchy beard. And he stands up as you enter the room.
Hello, Bruce. I hear you are giving us a presentation today.
That's right. I'm got a lot of new ideas for our data analytics department. Think you're really gonna like it.
I do not wish to talk about data analytics today, Bruce.
Good one. Yeah. Like, you want to give me a presentation to work on for 6 months about data analytics, and then when I get here, we're going to do something completely different. Good one.
He slams his hand onto the table.
Bruce, listen to me. I want to talk to you about free will.
Did you finally read the Blizzard?
Do you want to talk to me about free will, Bruce?
If that's what you really want me to do.
It is.
And he sits down, and the lights turn off, and the projector turns on. And on the screen appears to be a PowerPoint presentation. And that first slide reads, Bruce McKinney on why it's not okay to take away someone's free will. Dima sits and gives a small golf clap.
This should be very interesting.
Thank you all for meeting me here today. Hopefully you knew the topic of today's discussion. We'll be talking about free will versus destiny.
Please continue, Bruce.
So, I'm sure you all know, in the Blizzard, there's a group of people who are destined to become superheroes. But it happens differently for each person as they each exercise their own free will. Steve the Signal, his powers manifest almost immediately. He's the leader. He's destined to be the leader, so of course he would be the first one to manifest those powers. But when we talk about Diamond Quake, we think for the first 30 issues that he's the only one without powers until they finally manifest at the end of the battle at Raven's Door, saving all of them.
Dima looks annoyed. Bruce, not everything is a story, though, right? What about people that aren't Steve Sanderson or Steve the Signal, the two Steves?
Oh, God, you know the two Steves.
We all know the two Steves. And Diamond Quake and every other fringe character in this goddamn stupid art book, whatever you call it.
And you see nods around the room as he says this.
Okay, I get it. You want to talk about the one-shots, not about the full story arcs. Okay, so they tried doing the tsunami, thinking that they could...
Bruce.
Yes?
Enough. Do you know the difference between fate and free will? The difference between a prison or freedom.
Sometimes a prison can be the thing that frees you. Sometimes you have to know the limitations before you can appreciate what you actually have.
Dima stands up. The anger in his face is apparent when the woman reaches out and holds a hand in front of him, calming him momentarily, or at the very least, diverting his attention.
Bruce, stories are wonderful. Stories are things that give us the context to make sense of things, right?
Absolutely.
But the story that you tell yourself isn't necessarily my story, or anyone else's story.
Of course not. Yeah, only stuff like the blizzard is universal.
Do you not understand, Bruce? We have to have the ability to write our own stories too.
That's what I was trying to get at. Are you sure you don't want to just hear about the data analytics report?
Bruce, you wake up. You're in a facility that you don't know, but feels familiar, almost as if there by muscle memory. You look up, and there are 5 individuals in lab coats around you, 4 men and 1 woman. And the woman says to you,
Okay, Bruce, just like we talked about, you have to give us all the ability to write our own stories. Can you do that?
No, I can't do that.
Why not?
You're responsible for yourself.
Bruce, that's just it though. We're not. Not anymore.
And you can see the pain in her face and in the way that she's speaking to you. She holds out a paper to you that appears to be a medical chart.
Please, read this. Read it again, Bruce. Try to remember it. It is very important.
I'm not a doctor.
Bruce, there is a medical chart in front of you. It lists vital information about you, including a date, January 24th, 1995. Listed at the top is a section with chief complaint, and under that it says drowning incident after falling through ice on Grand River. Continuing on, it says the patient was brought to the emergency department following a drowning incident in which he fell through the ice. Per bystander accounts, the patient was submerged for approximately 5 minutes before being rescued. Immediate cardiopulmonary resuscitation was initiated at the scene. It continues on to list details about your medical history to that point, your social history, a review of your systems, and a bunch of information that does not seem super pertinent until you get down to an addendum at the bottom of the page titled Patient Encounter Log. There is a list of numerous encounters attached to this, each one corresponding to one of the pages in this folder. And as you begin flipping through these, a few things start to stand out to you. You see repeated names. You see, again, Alana Rietskopf, Dima Volkov as the identifying physicians or the person of contact. You see a medical record number attached to each one of them, UCRI 7211. And the chief complaint in every single one of these encounter logs is
Patient presents with a manifestation of ideomorphosis phenomenon resulted to a traumatic thalamic injury. This condition has been observed to cause the patient's ideations to manifest external to the patient through means we have been
unable to pinpoint.
Unable to pinpoint.
The most recent entry, however, contains a line that the others do not. And you lean in a little bit to get a better look at this.
Potential identified with the most recent iterations for the patient to create other entities with the same capabilities that he possesses. This escalation in condition is concerning, and the implications therein are dire. Bruce, do you recognize any of this?
I mean, yeah, that's my name, that's my birthday. I do have asthma, I'm allergic to mushrooms, I'm allergic to peanuts. This is a lot of...
Look at the section. Please, look at the section labeled History of Present Illness.
I've not been to the doctor or the hospital this many times. I mean, I've just been living a normal life. Like, I'm a married man.
She looks concerned as soon as you make a declarative statement about yourself, and they look around at each other momentarily, and they pat themselves almost as if to make sure that they're still there. And after a deep breath, they look back at you, Bruce.
Please just answer the questions.
I'm looking at these dates. I don't remember going to the doctor all these times.
Bruce, what do you remember?
And Bruce, I would like to conduct a roll here to see if you do remember anything at all.
Oh boy.
This is going to be a D12 challenge. Okay. That's a 12.
All right. Well, right in this moment, Bruce is thinking about the life he's built for himself. Use the distinction found family. Mm-hmm. Can I use the relationship with Angie and Hans?
Yeah.
And let's see. Self-preservation. Literally trying to preserve his sense of self.
Okay.
Being based on the description of manager, organizing solutions to problems. I feel like that's what he's trying to do.
Sure.
He's trying to reinforce his perception of reality against this problem of them challenging it.
Okay.
All right.
You're beating a 12.
Yep. That's 10, 9, 6, 6. So that's 19.
Okay. I will give you one piece of important information that you remember, and you can decide one for yourself as well, considering that was a heroic success. You remember that you have been here multiple times before. That this is a place that is meant to study what you are capable of. And you remember that you are special. What else do you remember, Bruce?
I think Bruce is gonna just have that very simple memory. It's 3 a.m. Hans has an ear infection, and Bruce is sitting on the edge of his bed. He's reading The Blizzard to him. It's the only thing that seems to keep them both calm. And it was really hard, but it was really special to him because that was one of the first times he felt like he connected with him.
The woman looks at you expectantly again, as if awaiting an answer to her question.
Well, Bruce, do you remember anything?
I do. I remember being here, but And this isn't all that my life is. When I look at this report, I feel like I would have to be here all the time.
She looks at you, and you can see several reactions of frustration from the assembled lab coats around you. Dima has leaned forward and is rubbing the bridge of his nose vigorously. Alana takes a step forward and crouches down so that she's almost eye level with you, where you're seated.
Does he need a handkerchief? I think... Oh. I'm not in my suit.
Bruce. Bruce. You are special. You have wanted your whole life to be special, but you can't remember that you already are. I need you to remember that you're special. I need you to want to remember that you're special.
Wait. Did I tell you about Spirit Radio?
Spirit Radio. Yeah. That's where the universe tells you things, right?
Oh. Okay. That's why I've been coming to the doctor here.
Bruce, wait. I have to explain to you.
And she stops midway through that sentence, and her face looks blank for a second, and she says to you,
that's why you've been coming to the doctor here. Because of Spirit Radio. That's why you've been coming to the doctor here. Because of Spirit Radio.
Yep, well, I guess I'll be heading home now.
Bruce, you stand up to leave, and as soon as your back is turned, you hear her voice call out to you.
Wait! That's not it! Bruce, do you remember when you told us that you didn't want us to be hurt by the things that you did?
I mean, that I wouldn't want that. I don't want anyone to be hurt.
I need you to hold on to that thought. I need you to hold on to that thought more than anything. It's very important that you understand what ideamorphosis is, okay? I need you to focus as hard as you can on this conversation, Bruce. Can you do that for me?
Of course. I want to figure the Spirit Radio out as much as you do.
I wish it were just that, Bruce.
Oh.
Ideamorphosis is a condition
Do I have other powers?
Bruce, you wake up. You are in a facility, kneeling in a puddle of piss. And in front of you, 3 grown adults in outfits reminiscent of a teenager's conception of what a special forces unit would look like stand in front of you, and they speak in unison.
Bruce, you remember this time, right?
I remember having a conversation.
Who do you remember having a conversation with? Do you remember your friends, Bruce?
Of course. Yes.
Name them, Bruce.
Court. And Jenny. And Blanche. And Jackie. And Toska?
Toska, you lay draped over a man who is the source of the puddle of piss that is rapidly soaking into your pants.
Wonderful.
Welcome back.
Yes, Bruce, I need you to focus. Tell me about how we got here, Bruce.
Well, there was a guy smoking a cigarette outside.
You launch into a recounting of the tale that brought you and your friends to this facility in Manchester, Tennessee.
It is 9:15 p.m.
And as you sit here recounting the story of how we all got here, the sun begins to set.
in a full-length
The cool air of a fall night pushes in through an open window frame, and the building around you is dismantled.
serviceable apartment.
Piece
He turns away from his
by
reflection,
piece.
but his leg snags on something, and he begins to tumble. He catches his hand against the mirror and steadies himself. He expects glass, but instead he's greeted with a dull, room temperature feel of plastic, and it flexes hard around his palm.
This has been What's in the Rift. If you enjoyed our show, please remember to rate and review on your favorite podcast platforms. If you really enjoyed our show, you can support us directly via Patreon or join our Discord. Both links can be found at what'sintherift.com. What's in the Rift is brought to you by Gas Station Drugs.